without a navigational plan, you're still just drifting in the vast ocean and just hoping to get there.
Exactly. So before we dive into building your map, I think it's critical to that we spend a moment understanding the terrain of the visionary's void itself. Why is this gap between inspiration and execution so common? Why do so many brilliant, passionate visions end up as just a footnote in your journal? Why do so many brilliant, passionate visions, become a failure in your past that you get grounded to, anchored to? It's not a personal failure. It's a predictable human phenomenon. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be, and a warm welcome back to the Infinite Wisdom Experience, where we deliver wisdom at the speed of thought. Whether you're a dedicated listener or joining us for the first time, we're so grateful that you have been with us. And we do ask that if you like and subscribe, especially if you're new, just help us grow, help that algorithm get us a little bit more attention so we can keep spreading the word. So, in our last episode, we journeyed deep into the heart of vision creation from dream to destiny. We explored how to connect with the articulate and articulate a vision that is truly projected from your core. And many of you reached out, sharing what you've done and the work that's happening, and you've connected with yourself. Remember, self is your spiritually evolving life force. And now you hold a clear, resonant vision in your heart. And that is a monumental achievement. But it also brings us to the next critical question, the one that separates the dreamers from the creators. Now what? Today, we address what we call the visionary's void, that often like a paralyzing gap between the profound inspiration of having a vision and the practical day-to-day reality of bringing it to life. How many just went, uh-oh? So a vision, no matter how beautiful, can become a source of frustration if it remains a distant, shimmering mirage. So today's episode is all about moving from inspiration to implementation. Sound familiar? It's kind of one of our favorite things to say. We're going to give you the tools to build a living blueprint for your vision. And we'll discuss how to create a clear path by setting meaningful benchmarks, not just goals, but as sacred check-in points to ensure that your vision stays on track and that the inevitable distractions of life are kept to a minimum. And of course, stay tuned for a brand new microhack designed to help you build your very own vision tracking system.
Right? So the visionary's void. It's the it's a perfect description. It could be also called the dreamer's end because it's where the real work begins. And it's where so many incredible visions sadly go to die, not from lack of passion, but from lack of structure. Having that core aligned vision statement is like knowing your destination, setting your sail to a beautiful sun drenched island, if that's your thing, right? But
It's fine.
but without a map, without a navigational plan, you're still just drifting in the vast ocean and just hoping to get there.
Exactly. So before we dive into building your map, I think it's critical to that we spend a moment understanding the terrain of the visionary's void itself. Why is this gap between inspiration and execution so common? Why do so many brilliant, passionate visions end up as just a footnote in your journal? Why do so many brilliant, passionate visions, become a failure in your past that you get grounded to, anchored to? It's not a personal failure. It's a predictable human phenomenon. And by understanding the forces at play, then we can build a much stronger defense against them. And the data on this is actually, it's staggering.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, when you look at the research around goal execution, there's a clear and sobering picture that emerges. So let me give you a couple of statistics. Statistic number one, the New Year's resolution effect. Okay. Studies from University of Scranton show that while nearly half of Americans make New Year's resolutions, only about 19% feel they're successful in achieving them. Small percentage. That means that over 80% of well-intentioned visions for the year fall apart, and often within the first few weeks. So this is a perfect microcosm of the visionary's void that we talked about. Statistic number two, the strategy execution gap. So in the corporate world, this problem is well known. There's a research published in the Harvard Business Review, and it consistently shows that companies on average fail to deliver on a huge portion of their strategic promises. Some studies suggest that 60 to 90% of organizations fail to execute their strategies successfully. So these companies, think about it. These are companies with massive resources, with brilliant people, and they've defined clear goals. Yet they still fall into the void. And statistic number three, the project failure rate. So the Project Management Institute, or PMI, reports in its Pulse of the Profession survey, there's a Pulse of the Profession survey, that a significant percent of projects fail to meet their original goals. So in their 2021 report, they noted that 1 in 3 projects, that's 31%, are not completed within their budget, and nearly half, almost 47%, are not completed on time. So they're over budget and over time. So what this data tells us is that just having a vision or a goal, it's not the hard part. The real challenge, the one that trips up individuals and even Fortune 500 companies, is the sustained, focused execution over time.
Yeah, so that's exactly so let's just diagnose the primary reason that this happens. These are the currents in the storms that Gary mentioned earlier and the things that pull our ship, your ship, off course. So you've got reason number one. We call it the siren call of the shiny object syndrome. We're all familiar with that. This is perhaps the most common reason. So you have your core aligned vision, but then a new business idea pops up, a new can't miss investment opportunity appears, a new diet, a new piece of software, a new productivity hack. And these shiny objects are alluring because they offer a dopamine hit of novelty and a constant wave of dopamine. And the brain is wired to be drawn to the new and the exciting. The danger is that each time you divert your energy to chase another shiny object, you are stealing resources, focus, you're stealing momentum directly from your core vision. It's it's death by 1,000 exciting distractions. I guess the best way to put it. Okay, so then you have reason number two, which is your altitude sickness, the loss of perspective. And this means, or this happens in two ways. Sometimes we fly too high, staying only in the dream of the grand vision. And it feels good. I mean, really good, but we never descend to the ground level to do the actual work. It's all inspiration and no perspiration. More often, however, we get stuck on the ground and we get so lost in the weeds of daily tasks and in emails and putting out fires that we completely forget why we're doing it. We lose sight of our North Star. And this leads to burnout and frustration and the feeling that you're just working on a meaningless to-do list. So the living blueprint that we're going to be discussing is the cure for this, as it forces you to connect the high level vision to the ground level tasks every 90 days, which leads us to reason number 3, the dopamine drain. It's our diminishing attention spans. So let's be honest about the world that we live in. Our brains are being rewired for instant gratification. So, a study from Microsoft a few years ago was famously suggested that the average attention span has dropped about 8 seconds, less than that of a goldfish. Now, whether the specific number is precise or not, the trend is real. Your phone, with its endless notifications and infinite scrolls, provides constant, tiny little dopamine hits. Executing a long-term vision, however, requires deep work and delayed gratification. And I'm sorry, it doesn't offer an immediate reward. I'm just really, really sorry that's because that's probably what you might be looking for. Okay. So we're in a constant battle. The easy, instant dopamine of distraction versus the difficult, delayed fulfillment of your vision. Without a rigid system to protect your focus, the vision almost always loses.
And I'll add two more, slightly more subtle reasons to that list. So, reason number 4 is the perfectionism paralysis. And I see this a lot with our clients and some of our
Yeah.
students. Many of us believe that the first step we take towards our vision must be perfect, right? Anybody here suffer from that? We over research, we over plan, we wait for the perfect time to start. But this isn't about high standards. It's a defense mechanism. It's our fear of failure or judgment disguised as diligence. Because if we never start, well, we could never fail, right? So your vision requires momentum. And perfectionism is the ultimate momentum killer. But the 90-day sprint model, which we're going to talk about, forces you to take imperfect, consistent actions. All right. Reason number 5 is the accountability abyss. And this is it's when a vision is born internally, but it is often realized externally. Okay, in a community with others. Got to understand that. The vision is born internally, but it's often realized externally in a community with others. So when we hold our vision entirely to ourselves, there's no social cost to just letting it slide. Right? Think about it. Right? There's no one to check in with us, no one to celebrate wins with us, no one to help us troubleshoot when we get stuck. So we end up alone in the abyss of our own excuses, right? But creating benchmarks and sharing them with a coach, a mentor, a mastermind group, or even a trusted friend. It's got to be someone that supports your vision and is encouraging, not someone, not what we call the saboteurs. We don't talk to those people, or the sentinels, right? It's got to be a trusted friend that creates a structure of positive social pressure, that can make all the difference.
Yeah, I mean that's a perfect summary. So, as you can see, the visionary's void is a formidable challenge, defined by shiny objects and lost perspectives and dwindling attention spans, perfectionism, and a lack of accountability. But it's not insurmountable. The tools that we're about to discuss, the pillars, the benchmarks, and the 90-day sprints, and the rhythm of review are designed specifically to counteract these powerful forces and build a sturdy bridge from your dream to your destiny.
So today you're going to learn the art of visioneering, okay? Where we are building that map. We are when we're translating that powerful energetic signature of your vision into a tangible, actionable structure. Think of it this way. Your core vision is your North Star, okay? The constant. It's the guiding light that gives you direction. But to navigate the actual voyage, you need waypoints, right? You need specific points on the map that tell you, hey, I'm here, I'm on course. And that is my next stop over there, right? So it lets you know where you were, where you're at, and where you're going. These are your benchmarks. So setting these core aligned benchmarks is crucial for three reasons. First, they provide focus, right? Breaking down a potentially massive and potentially overwhelming vision into manageable segments. Second, they create momentum, right? Each benchmark achieved is a victory that fuels your energy, like that pat on the back, that extra nudge that you get, and it fuels your energy and your belief towards the outcome. And then third, and perhaps most importantly, they create a feedback loop, right? Allowing you to see what's working and what's not. And whether you're maintaining that state of absolute congruency, not just in what you achieve, but how you achieve it.
Exactly. So that feedback loop is everything. So, how do we visioneer these waypoints? How do we define the benchmarks that are they're not just arbitrary numbers, but are truly core aligned? It's a three-part process: deconstruct, assign, and time bound. So, first, you deconstruct the vision into pillars. Look at your vision statement. What are the 2 to 4 foundational pillars that hold it up? We talked about this last week. You need to break the grand vision down into essential components. So, for a business vision, these pillars might be, but not limited to, product and service excellence, or financial health and growth, team culture and development, or the fourth one might be customer impact and satisfaction. Okay, then for your personal vision, okay, your pillars could be something like one might be physical and mental well-being, or another one would be career and contribution. Another one is going to be like key relationships, your family and partner. And then maybe a fourth one would be personal growth and spirituality. In in our programs, we call this the hero's compass that covers all of these. So second, for each pillar, you assign key metrics. This is where you get specific. What does success look like and feel like for each pillar in measurable terms? So, for example, for financial health, a benchmark could be a specific revenue goal or money raised. Or for product excellence, it might be number of units sold or achieving a certain customer satisfaction score. For your personal well-being, a benchmark could be a health metric, or even a time constraint like dedicate 5 hours per week to deep rest and recovery, or you're going to go to the gym 3 days a week, something like that. For key relationships, which I do stress for everyone in this high, busy world, it could be to schedule and be fully present for 2 deep connection date nights per month. I'm sorry that you have to schedule things like that, but you just have to do it. You're busy. The world is busy. And third, you time bound your benchmarks. And this creates urgency and clarity. So, with that, I recommend 3 horizons. One, the 3 to 5 year milestone, which is your big waypoint, where you want to be with each pillar in 3 to 5 years. And then your second would be a 1 year waypoint based on your milestone. What must be true 1 year from now? And this makes it more immediate. And then our favorite is the 90-day sprint. This is your most critical horizon. What specific measurable process or progress must you make on each pillar in the next 90 days to be on track for your one year waypoint? This is where action lives and thrives.
Yeah, and in that 90-day sprint, it creates a rhythm, okay, a rhythm of focused, inspired action. And that brings us to the most important part of the living blueprint, the rhythm of review. Now, it's not enough to just set benchmarks. You must also create a sacred practice of checking in with them, right? Uh,
Yeah,
it's,
really. It's
and
back
it
to the
may sound
journal being stuck.
obvious,
It's back to the journal being stuck in the drawer, you
right? It
know.
may sound obvious, but so many people think, "Oh, I've done my job. I've set the benchmarks," but then you
Right.
don't check in
Exactly.
on it. And this is how you ensure distractions are minimized and you stay in that state of absolute congruency. So we
Yeah.
recommend 2 layers to this rhythm. First is the weekly check-in, right? This is quick, right? 15-minute personal or team meeting, all right? Or partnership, like if you're in a couple of relationships, it's just a quick meeting, right? A get together, a family meeting. The only question that matters is, did our actions this week move us closer to our 90-day sprint goals? Yes or no? Simple, right? Go around the table, and if not, what adjustments do we need to make for the next week? And this keeps it's like the rudder in the water, right? It keeps the rudder straight on a weekly basis and aligned and adjusting to any of the waves or things that have come in the way that kind of potentially sway you off course, right? The second is deeper layer is the it's a deeper layer of this 90-day is a 90-day congruency audit. So the end of each 90-day sprint, again, we're assuming here that the vision is longer than 90 days, right? At the end of the 90-day sprint, you don't just look at the numbers, right? You pause. You return to that sitting meditator space, right? The one we talked about last week. If you were listening, and if you weren't, go back and check that one out, right? And then you ask the deeper questions. We hit our revenue goal, but how did we do it? Right? Did we honor our core value of integrity? If that's whatever your core value is, you fill that in. Okay. We launched the new product, but is our team culture thriving or are they burnt out? Right. And again, make the appropriate adjustments to the languaging, whether it's on, if you're doing it for yourself or with a partner or with a team. Right. I met my fitness goal, but did I sacrifice my connection with my family to do it, or sacrifice my any other area of my life in order to do it? Right? Because maybe you're pounding it at the gym, but you're eating like a slob. Right? So where else are you not in alignment? And this is where you audit not just your progress, but your process. And if you find that you're off track, understand that it's not failure. The failure is not doing the audit. So if you notice that you're off track, it's not failure. It's just feedback. That's it. Right? It's a powerful signal telling you it's time to realign your actions, reevaluate your strategy, or recognize that a a distraction has crept in and needs to be lovingly but firmly removed. This rhythm of review ensures your vision doesn't just get achieved, but it gets achieved in a way that nourishes your soul and honors your core authentic self.
Really. So a vision without structured plan is just a wish. A plan without a core aligned vision is just drudgery. So the magic, the fulfillment, the true creation happens in the integration of both. Your journey from inspiration to implementation requires this living blueprint. It's built on core aligned benchmarks and brought to life through a consistent rhythm of review. And now to help you build your very own blueprint. It's time for this week's micro hack. So the micro hack is going to be a 90-day visioneering dashboard. So Gary, take it away, man.
All right, everyone. I'll start it off here. This micro hack is designed to be a simple, powerful a simple tool you can create right in your own journal on one page or on a whiteboard. Okay, it's your 90-day visioneering dashboard. Label it that. Right. We'll drop the instructions in the notes, in the comments, in the chat, and in the YouTube description when it's on YouTube. All right. Step one, state your core vision clearly, right? So, at the very top of the page, write down your powerful present tense core vision statement. And remember, this is your North Star. Everything on this page must serve that statement. Okay. And step two, define your pillars. Remember, Ross talked about the different pillars, right? So divide the page into two or four columns, depending on how many pillars you're going to set. And at the top of each column, write one of your visionary pillars. So it could be financial health or personal well-being or relationship, whatever it is. You're going to label those pillars. Okay.
Yeah, so then step three is you're going to set your 90-day benchmarks and take some time with this. Within each pillar's column, write down 1 to 2 specific measurable benchmarks that you are committed to achieving in this 90-day sprint. Remember to make them quantitative where possible. That is, achieve $50,000 in new revenue, or complete 24 workout sessions, or launch version 1 of the new software. They have to be quantifiable and such. That is so important. This is not a feel good type of exercise. It's like, oh, I think I made it because I feel successful. It's like, no, prove it. Then step 4, list your key actions. Underneath your benchmarks in each column, list the 3 to 5 most critical projects or actions that you will need to take this quarter to hit those benchmarks. And this turns the what into how. And then step 5 is schedule your rhythm and review. Schedule it. And at the bottom of the page, write down 2 appointments with yourself or with your team. Okay, one's going to be your weekly check-in every Friday at 4 p.m. to 4:15. Like I said, this is quick. And then number 2 is going to be your 90-day congruency audit. And that's going to be the date of your 90-day review. And that's it. This one page becomes your map for the next 90 days. It keeps your vision, your pillars, your benchmarks, and your actions all in one place. It makes it easy to conduct your weekly check-ins and stay focused and aligned and in a state of absolute congruency. Because that dashboard is such a powerful tool for clarity and focus. It truly transforms the vision from an idea to an actionable plan. Remember, that's how you avoid the visionary void. Okay. Remember, everyone, this journey of execution is just as sacred as the journey of discovery. Honor the process, celebrate the achievement of each benchmark, and be compassionate with yourself when you need to realign. That's what this whole process is about, is realigning when you feel that you might be off course. You're the captain of your ship, and now you have the map and the waypoints for an incredible journey.
So, as you go into your daily routine from this episode, remember that a vision is given life through focused, aligned, and consistent action. Okay? Thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on taking this next powerful step towards making your authentic future a reality, right? And as we wrap up today, we go and to go boldly through your life. We want you to live we want you to leave with our weekly challenge. Okay, we dare you to be exceptional, not average, not just right, not I'll get to it on Monday, right? We want you to be exceptional today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Now it's simple. It's a lot easier than you'd think. The to be exceptional is a lot easier than most people think, because all you have to do, think about it, all you have to do is consistently implement what you learn, and then consciously learn from what you implement, right? That's the secret, right there, the secret to greatness. So thanks for spending this valuable time with us today. Whether you're watching us live or catching a replay, we truly don't take your attendance lightly. We honor it, we value it, we're in deep gratitude for it. So we know you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to spend this time with us, and for that we are deeply grateful. So thank you so much. We'll catch you next week on the Infinite Wisdom Experience. Be well, everyone.
Yeah,
Enjoy at the
thanks.
half.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.